The New York Giants have a lot of holes to fill, and depending on who you ask, one of those holes is the most critical of all. And today, I will discuss filling multiple holes right here on Football Scout 365. Now, before we get started today, I want to remind you to check out all of the additional content on our channel, including my mock draft 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0 videos. I also have several individual player analysis videos, which include the top QBs in the 2024 NFL draft class. In addition, don't forget to check out our website, footballscout365.com, where you can find more in-depth NFL draft analysis, including the NFL Draft Big Board, top 100 player rankings, and a whole lot more. That is all on our website, footballscout365.com. Now, in previous videos similar to this, I always like to highlight the offensive and defensive schemes and where a team might have struggled the most in the previous year so that we can be sure that we are identifying the right positional team needs to target in the 2024 NFL Draft. Now, statistically speaking, the New York Giants in 2023, they were absolutely atrocious on both sides of the football. They weren't good on offense. They were not good on defense. On the offensive side, they ranked 29th in total offense. They ranked 31st in passing offense, and they ranked 23rd in total rush offense. Over on the defensive side of the football, the Giants, they ranked 27th in total defense, 19th in pass defense, while also ranking 29th in total rush defense. Absolutely atrocious, by the way. The Giants' overall team grade, according to Pro Football Focus, in 2023, they ranked last in the NFL. Now, after a 6-11 season, and as far as the coaching staff is concerned, the Giants, they had to make a lot of moves, but the most important move of all was at defensive coordinator. The Giants, they decided to move on from Wink Martindale, and they hired Shane Bowen. Bowen is an up-and-coming young coach. He's from the Tennessee Titans. He's only 37 years old. Now, Bowen, he began his coaching as a student assistant at Georgia Tech back in 2009. He stayed there until 2011. He took on his first positional coaching role in the college ranks at Kennesaw State. He coached linebackers from 2013 to 2015. His first NFL job came in 2016 with the Houston Texans, where he was a defensive assistant coach for 2 years there. The Titans, they went out, they hired this guy back in 2018, first as their outside linebackers coach, and then they eventually promoted him to defensive coordinator in 2021. Bowen's defensive pedigree is heavily influenced by his former boss, Mike Vrabel, and former Titans special assistant coach Jim Schwartz, who spent some time with Bowen in 2021 and 2022 on the Titans staff. Bowen, he's going to deploy a more simplistic defense in New York. He loves to use a zone-based defense. About 60% of the time, he mixes in some man-to-man to shake things up as well. His base defense, while at Tennessee, it was a 4-2-5 50% of the time. So ultimately, his defense is a 4 down front. Even if one of those 4 guys is standing up, there are 4 players along the line of scrimmage, predominantly speaking, or at least 50% of the time. Now, you're going to see him blend a lot of 2 high and 1 high safety looks. He does not blitz a lot. In 2023, the Titans defense, under Bowen's direction, they ranked 6th in the NFL in using a 4-man pressure, while his defense ranked 28th in overall blitz rate. Now, at the end of the day, his defense is known for its ability to get stops on 3rd down and in the red zone. It's going to be a bend but don't break style. He wants teams to take it the distance with the goal of forcing a mistake along the way. Now, as far as the offensive side of the football is concerned, Brian Daboll, as everybody remembers, is known for his time developing Josh Allen in Buffalo. In his first year as the Giants head coach, he catapulted Daniel Jones into a new contract by helping him become one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, stylistically speaking, Brian Daboll has always been a solid coach. His scheme, it's not too diverse or difficult to really digest. He uses only 2 personnel groupings on offense, with 11 personnel on the field 70% of the time. He incorporates the college RPO stuff at the league's 5th highest rate, which is a quarterback's best friend. Now, if you look at the PFF grades, his offense in 2023, it graded 31st in PFF offensive grade. The biggest driver of this grade was the pass blocking grade and the run blocking grades, both of which ranked at the bottom of the NFL. Now, before we dive into what holes we're going to fill here, I want to talk about some of the outgoing potential free agents for the New York Giants, and then I'm going to dive right into the team needs, and then we can finally do a 3-round NFL mock draft. Now, in terms of the Giants' pending free agent situation, they have some very serious decisions to make. Now, one of those key pieces is going to be safety Xavier McKinney, a player that is an absolute chess piece on the defensive side of the football. He also graded as one of the top defenders, not only on the Giants, but in the NFL in 2023. He is a pending free agent. You have to figure that aspect out. The other big name of note is Saquon Barkley. Obviously, you want to try to keep him, but I believe he's on his way out. A few other names that pop up consistently: cornerback Adoree Jackson and edge rusher Jihad Ward. Now, a player that the Giants might need to consider releasing to save some salary cap space after only a year is tight end Darren Waller. He could save you about $12 million in cap space if you can release him before the June 1st deadline. You could also be losing two of your starting interior offensive linemen in Justin Pugh and Ben Bredesen. Both players, though, they graded terribly in 2023. Overall, the New York Giants are currently sitting at around $11 million in effective salary cap space ahead of the 2024 NFL Draft, so they will need to do some maneuvering in order to keep some of these top guys on the roster that they might be losing due to free agency. So let's talk about the team needs for the New York Giants. Let's start off with the quarterback position. Yes, I am one of the people who believe they need to upgrade at the quarterback position. They also need wide receiver help. Obviously, the offensive line is in desperate need of upgrades at every spot other than left tackle. They may also need to upgrade the interior defensive line and the secondary in order to get themselves into a position to once again compete for the NFC division title and get back into the playoffs. All right, so in this 3-round mock draft, I have 4 picks in the first 3 rounds to work with for the New York Giants. And as it stands, I currently have pick number 6 overall, pick number 39 in the second round, pick number 47 in the second round, and pick 70 in the third round of the 2024 NFL Draft. Now, as I already mentioned, I'm considering a quarterback with the 6th overall pick. I don't know who will be available, but I will absolutely consider Jayden Daniels or J.J. McCarthy in this spot if they fall to me. The other players I will look to target include wide receiver Malik Neighbors and wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. if either happen to fall my way. But the most important need of all is that I want to bolster this offensive line for the New York Giants. So if I plan to stick with Daniel Jones, I might consider any of the top offensive tackles available, Joe Alt or Olu Fashanu, with that 6th overall pick. But I can also move back and target a right tackle more specifically because I already have Andrew Thomas at left tackle. Okay, so let's dive into this mock draft. And with the 6th overall pick, Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr., they are both already off the board, but there are still 2 quarterbacks that teams want to trade up for. There is J.J. McCarthy and Jayden Daniels. I could just take J.J. McCarthy right now and pair him with Brian Daboll, but Daniel Jones, he's not going anywhere. The Giants still have to pay this guy. So I want to do something a little bit different here. I want to gain additional draft capital. My ultimate goal is to fill as many holes as I possibly can, as I mentioned at the very beginning. There are too many holes to fill, but I want to do the best I can to fill as many needs as possible within the first 3 rounds of the 2024 NFL Draft. So how can I do that? There's some QB needy teams in the middle of the first round. They want to move up. There's 2 quarterbacks available. Jayden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, they are sitting there. They can have them at pick number 6. So what I want to do is I want to try to trade back with the Vikings or the Raiders because they have some nice draft capital in the second round. Both of them have picks in the 40 range of the second round. So I want to try to trade back in the first round to pick 11 or 13 to where I still am in a great position to fill a position of need, whether it's offensive tackle. I really want to ultimately get to Talise Fuaga if I can at right tackle. I might take a wide receiver at pick 11 or 13, whoever's available there. I may even try to trade back again, but ultimately I'm going to offer them this trade in the mock draft simulator, and I'm going to see what happens. All right, so I offer the Vikings the 6th overall pick for their 11th overall pick, their 42 overall pick, and their 2025 first round pick, and they denied it. So I tried without pick 42 in the 2024 NFL Draft, and the Vikings denied it again. So I went to the Raiders. I offered them the same value, but I would get pick 13 overall and pick 44 overall in their 2025 first round pick. I was denied again. So I go back to the Vikings and I offer them the number 6 overall pick for their number 11 overall pick and their 2025 first round pick. And once again, I was denied. So I go back to the simulator and I offer the Raiders the 6th overall pick for their 13th overall pick again, and their 2025 first, and they accepted the trade. Okay, now that the Raiders have finally accepted my trade offer, I can finally move on and draft the right tackle that I wanted in this draft. He's right here in front of me. I can take him at 13 overall. It's Oregon State's Talise Fuaga. I want to hit draft now, but I'm thinking about trading back one more time because I can see that Alabama's J.C. Latham, he's been projected to go around picks 18 to 22 and pick up even more draft capital potentially a second-round pick here in the 2024 NFL Draft. I see the Eagles have 2 second-round picks, and with Jackson Powers-Johnson still on the board, they probably want to go that route, right? They want to replace the center position after Kelsey's retirement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer the Eagles my number 13 overall pick for the 22nd overall pick in the draft. I'm really going to roll the dice here, but I'm also going to get a pick in the 50s from the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm going to gain an additional second round pick here in the 2024 NFL Draft. So now that I was able to trade with the Eagles and move back to pick number 22 overall, I now have 3 second round picks and my original third round pick. So let's go fill all the holes that we can on this Giants roster. Let's get this organization moving in the right direction. So I missed out on drafting JC Latham. The Steelers, they ended up grabbing him. So my strategy of moving back from pick 13 to 22, I moved a little too far back to pick up the right tackle that I was looking for to pair with Andrew Thomas, but I do have 2 high-level wide receivers staring me in the face. These are the big-bodied, big-framed receivers. Both of them are 6'4", and that's Brian Thomas and Keon Coleman. So I am going to take the contested catch ability and the elusiveness of Keon Coleman, who at 6'4", 215 pounds, is everything the Giants have been missing at the wide receiver position. Now that my entire strategy has changed, I'm going to try to use my 3 round 2 picks to shore up my offensive line and defensive line, unless there's a corner or another player that comes out of nowhere that I just cannot pass on. Well, somehow Michael Penix Jr., he's sitting here at pick 39. I did not expect this. I don't expect him to get out of the late first round. It could happen though. His injury history, it's a massive issue, but the accuracy from the pocket and his awareness to avoid pressure is like no other. So it feels like destiny to me, and we need Daniel Jones insurance on this Giants team, even if that insurance is also made of glass and the Giants don't have an offensive line to block for the guy. It's still a player that I'm willing to take a risk on with the 39th overall pick. I still haven't shored up my offensive line. I've completely pivoted away from that. So we're changing strategy again. We're going to take Michael Penix Jr. with the 39th overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. Now at pick number 47, there is an offensive tackle available. It is a guy that I do like. He has experience playing both right tackle and left tackle, and that is BYU's Kingsley Suamataia. So we are going to pull the trigger on this one. We're going to grab an offensive tackle to pair with our left tackle, Andrew Thomas, and we're going to move forward here. And at pick number 50 in the 2024 NFL Draft, I am going to take cornerback from Oregon, Kyrie Jackson, with the 50th overall pick. So we're getting a really lengthy corner out of Oregon. This guy has some excellent man coverage skills. He gets a little nosy in the run game. He gets a little aggressive sometimes. He's a guy that we can plug right into this defense. He could be the guy who replaces Adoree Jackson at the end of the day. Now in the 3rd round, my final pick in this mock draft, and I've had 5 picks to make in 3 rounds, and it's pick number 70. We are going to replace Saquon Barkley. I am going to target a running back because one fell in my lap that I absolutely love. You're going to start to hear more about this guy as time goes on, and that is Tennessee running back Jaylen Wright. He is a burner with 3-down versatility. He can hit the home run. He's a pass catcher out of the backfield. This is an excellent running back prospect, a player, like I said, you're going to hear more about as time goes on throughout this process. All right, that's going to do it for this New York Giants mock draft. We just filled a ton of holes. I hope you're feeling really good about this mock draft. We ended up with Keon Coleman at pick 22 overall after trading back 2 times. We ended up with Michael Penix Jr. falling into our lap in the 2nd round at pick 39 overall. We got an offensive tackle that we can plug into right tackle in Kingsley Suamataia. We got a cornerback to help us try to shore up this secondary in Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon. And we may have the Saquon Barkley replacement with Jaylen Wright, a running back with 3-down versatility, a player out of Tennessee that I absolutely love. He's a speedster. He's got pass catching ability. This feels pretty good. The offense feels pretty good too. If you decide to move on from Daniel Jones, or you're just going to sit him down for the next couple years and you throw Michael Penix Jr. out there, you've got the big-bodied receiver in Keon Coleman, and you've got a running back in Jaylen Wright. That feels pretty good. And if you can go into free agency after the draft and fill needs on the interior of this offensive line, I think that would be a primary focus, and it will be a primary focus for the Giants moving ahead. I think the Giants can start to take that next step forward to getting back to competing for an opportunity to make it to the playoffs. Okay, that's going to do it for this episode. I want to say thank you for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more great NFL draft content.